for that to hopefully show up. Oh, there we go. It's crazy that all this stuff even works. Here we go. Here we go. Nice.
Do you hear noise from my window?
I don't think so.
All right. Like, it's so nice out that I want to keep the window open, but the neighbors are making some noise. I might need to shut it at some point.
I can't hear anything. Hey, everybody. Nice to see y'all. Zach, Ryan, Kevin. Kevin, you're deboning a chicken. This is...
I'm a podcast listener with when I do the dishes, when I do my morning walk. I can't say I've done podcasting and deboning chicken.
All right, we got Josh Frank here too. He's making lunch, making coffee.
Is anybody on the East Coast? It's like 3:30 in the afternoon for me.
Yeah, who's on the East Coast now?
I'm also wondering if we ever get any like European people. And
well, what time is it?
Their evening watching.
Yeah, what time is it in the UK? It's 8:20 p.m.
Okay.
So
it's either us or Netflix. I don't know.
Some people, if you're doing something like, you got it on in the kitchen, I can see.
Okay, Josh Frank is up in Maine. Cool.
Oh, sweet.
I was at the beach in Maine for like 2 hours about 2 weeks ago. We were staying in New Hampshire, then we hopped over and caught a little ocean before we headed home.
Went to the beach in Maine?
Yeah, it was like an hour from the Airbnb in New Hampshire that we were at, so we did a stop.
Yeah, okay, so Maine, oh wow, Maine is right up against New Brunswick. Maine is basically...
Yeah, it's up there. And like
Canada.
And like, I think like the bottom third is where the people are, and the top 2/3 is like a whole bunch of nothing. Yeah.
That's the funny thing about Canada and the U.S.
Like Canada in general.
Yeah, it's like you get these. There's Quebec City's right here, and there's a lot of people in Quebec City. But yeah, you look at this. Even like look at this, Montreal.
Yeah.
But then you look at Vermont, and everything's kind of down. Well, Massachusetts.
Yeah, once you get near that Massachusetts line, that's when things start crowding up.
Cool. Well, we're gonna let's start the show, and then
let's get into it. It's been a couple weeks. So you just got back from Toronto?
I just got back from Toronto. I had a bunch of trips. We can talk about that. Yeah. Let's do the intro, and then we'll get into it.
Oh, that's a pretty cool shirt, dude. I didn't realize that's a Transistor shirt.
Yeah, man. This is the popular swag. We got I want to get another graphic.
I want to get one of those. I've been a customer.
I'll send you one, man. I'll send you one. It's in the mail.
All right, sweet.
All right. See if I can remember how to do the intro. Welcome to the panel, where two bootstrappers talk about building a better business and a better life. I'm Justin Jackson, the co-founder of Transistor.fm.
And I'm Brian Casel. I am building buildermethods.com.
All right. And I've got a few things I want to chat about today. Just a little preview. I went to Podcast Movement in Dallas. Got lots of thoughts about the podcast industry.
All right.
Went and took my eldest son. So my eldest daughter's in college, but my eldest son to college in Toronto. And while I was there, I met up with a bunch of our friends, and that was really interesting.
Very
and
nice. I want to hear all about that.
Been thinking about effort versus outcome. And
yeah, I actually just caught your quick like 6-minute podcast about that.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's funny. It's an exact. We'll have a lot to talk about on that one.
Yeah, what's going on your side?
I feel like I think I did book the very first revenue in the Stripe account for Builder Methods. So that's
nice.
It's not much, but I sold a bunch of tickets for the very first workshop for
Dude,
Builder
that
Methods.
means it's going.
This live workshop that I'm selling tickets for is going to be happening on September 16th. It's a Tuesday.
September
And
16th.
and so I haven't even really done a big push promotion wise for it, but I did send out like my first official Builder Methods newsletter last Friday, which I'm going to be doing every Friday going forward. And it was sort of like a quick mention at the top of that newsletter, like to get like an early bird, a discounted ticket. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think.
Well, Zach is in chat right now saying he got his ticket.
Yeah. Zach's always on top of it pretty fast. It's awesome. So I'm excited, a little nervous, but yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. And anything else? Anything else going on in your world?
Yeah, I mean the big thing. Well, so to go along with that idea of the workshop, I plan to open up Builder Methods Pro, the membership. I feel like I have solidified my vision for what that's going to be, and it's going to be like a pitch that I include on that workshop. I hope to sell the very first memberships around then, September 16th, and I have some plans for a longer term rollout for that. But then the bigger challenge, or sort of good challenge that I think I'm working through right now, is Agent OS. It has pretty good traction. It's like the thing that people talk about the most and they inquire about the most, and it is a free and open source tool.
Yeah.
It has a public GitHub page and everything. It's got a bunch of stars. It also has a bunch of issues and discussions and PR requests, and so I'm thinking through, how do I want to keep giving it love. I want to keep building it. I am building like a version 2 of the thing.
Yeah.
But it is free. It is not a paid product. So I'm trying to reconcile, like, how do I actually provide some level of support? I also want to make it like a lead into Builder Methods Pro, like offering paid support. So we can get into that. But that's the big question on my mind. I shot a message over to Adam Wathan to ask his take on, like, how do you handle a popular GitHub open source project? He knows a thing or two about that. So
yeah. Sweet. All right. So we got a lot to chat about. One thing I want to maybe just start off with, this wasn't on the agenda to talk about, but I've been thinking a lot about content, and you and I talk about this a lot. What is human? You're the one that's always saying, like, people are going to be connecting with humans. This is why people are thinking about, when they do Google searches, they append Reddit to the end of the search. And
oh, yeah.
Do you remember this? Like,
yeah. Sure.
Us talking about it? Okay. I am just feeling in general, maybe because I've been browsing a lot more content because I've been traveling, but I'm just exhausted with what algorithms give me. So as an example, like this is YouTube just not logged in. And
by the way, like the not logged in, unless you're in incognito.
I'm in incognito, yeah.
Like the not logged in state is like still basically logged in. They still have like data on your.
Yeah, I mean it's pulling up stuff on Kelowna, but it's still. I think what I wanted to illustrate here is, and I get this feeling on any algorithmic feed, LinkedIn. I get it everywhere. It's just this kind of this. It feels like when everybody's optimizing for the algorithm, it just all content becomes homogeneous and not. It kind of yucky.
It's not helpful. I also I totally agree with you. I do try to manage my feeds to battle that a little bit, but I also still get annoyed at it. So it depends on the network. In terms of like Twitter and Blue Sky, which are like the two that I check all the time throughout at least the workday.
Yeah.
I always stick to the the non-algorithm tab. I always watch the following tab, which is like the old school chronological. But even that is still like, you know, what happens is like humans self edit themselves to play to the algorithm, and that makes, even if I opt out of their algorithm feed, I'm just getting a lot of garbage from humans trying to edit themselves for the algorithm.
This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
And there's like a small handful of people that I'm probably actually friends with in real life that when they tweet or something, like, I'm really going to pay attention to what they have to say, because I sort of know them and trust, and I'm interested in their story. But it's like everyone else who I have followed over the years, it's always a question of like, do I still want to keep following you or not?
And I mean, I think it's hard for all of us because we're like,
and I'm guilty of it.
I mean, like me too. But when you're on the receiving, like when you're looking through a feed, and for a while, like all the Twitter thread boys were kind of guilty of this. It's just like content that's like Ryan Hefner says, banal. It's not very deep, but it's kind of designed to maybe go viral. It's just like kind of there, ready to get picked up because it's just shallow enough that, you know, people get excited about it to retweet it or whatever. And I think what's interesting is like this idea of like what goes popular, what gets picked up by the algorithm, what kind of appeals to humans' most base desires, and whether that's even good content, if it's good for us as humans. And eventually when your feed is just full of it, you just kind of feel like gross, like you've just eaten a bunch of sugar, and you're just kind of like going through it and going, man, none of this makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I think the interesting thing for me is thinking about how can I show up in a more real way.
That's what I'm really trying to do more on Twitter and Blue Sky is I'm trying to make that my most real and honest extension of what's actually on my mind at any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, I do announce things that I'm promoting. Like I announced today's podcast. I announced my workshop. Like I'm still going to do that when I have something that I want to promote. But outside of those kind of posts, like I'm talking about Twitter and Blue Sky specifically here. It's really, for me now, it's really about just building like what I'm most interested in, what I'm actually working on. So I'm just going to talk about things that that happen to be on my mind in my work and in my craft. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not scheduling things in advance over there. It's just like whatever comes out.
Yeah. The other thing it made me think of is, so like with the algorithm, we're all like trying to optimize for like views and retweets and likes. And the idea is that bigger numbers make us feel good. Like when you release some form of content, it feels good to get, you know, understand that people are engaging with it. But I've been thinking a lot lately about this idea of Kevin Kelly's 1,000 True Fans, and thinking about it in a way that he didn't originally kind of intend, but like this idea that maybe these big numbers actually don't matter as much as we think they do. Like for example, you're getting like tens of thousands of views on your Claude videos on YouTube. But what's really important, like, for example, this podcast, what's really important are these people who show up in chat, right?
Yeah.
Like these are representatives of our true fans.
These
our
are
crowd.
This is the hardcore crew, and we love you guys.
Yeah,
but I also think that we do have a loyal listener base of people who just aren't live chat people, and they're going to listen to the recording.
Well, even that, I mean, RSS feeds I think also represent kind of the core audience, because you have to really look for an RSS feed, and then you have to opt in a way that, and then once you've opted in, you have to actually engage. You have to click play in your podcast player, and that's requesting the file. So whatever shows up in our podcast stats is basically reflective of like who are the core fans that are like here with us. And
in terms of like marketing, I do think about YouTube differently. So Twitter and Blue Sky, I don't even think of as marketing. Like, yes, I'm going to send a promotional tweet once in a while because that's what I happen to be working on. I'm sharing it. I am building in public because that's what I'm interested in thinking about and tweeting about. But I have given up on trying to make Twitter or Blue Sky an actual marketing channel. That's why I consider that to just be like, let me just try to be as me and authentic as possible because I like to hang out on those platforms, right?
Yeah.
YouTube, I do care about the numbers because I treat that as my marketing channel. In this business, my top of the funnel is YouTube. There's no question about it. So I definitely care about how many views and how many subscribers I'm getting on YouTube. And I'm with you on the idea that like probably even like especially the videos that get a really high number of views, you have to assume that a very, very small percentage of those are actual like returning visitors to my channel. It's mostly the algorithm that sort of blew up on this one video. So if something gets 50,000 views, at least 40K of those are just going to be like first time viewers who may be flyby viewers and maybe did not hit that subscribe button and may never see my stuff again. But then like even among the couple thousand people so like I think right now my channel is up to 13,000 subscribers, but like even among that number, there's a very small percentage that like actually remember me and what I'm all about. You know, probably a larger number of those just subscribe to a lot of channels, you know? But then the most important number are the email list. Like that's the other thing that's like, okay, that's somebody who has actively clicked over from YouTube, typed in their email address. And so then that's the number that I look in Kit and like, okay, that's an important number to me. But then an even more important number is the number of people who actually hit reply on email.
Oh, yeah.
So like I have, you know, the auto response and now my inbox is full of these replies and like, okay, like that's a smaller subset, but they're more engaged, right?
Yeah.
And then you take that the next step and I'm offering a workshop ticket and with the discount it's $25, like super low price, but like that's another step toward engagement. Like that's how I'm thinking about this funnel, right?
Who's that weightlifter who's famous for like having really kind of raw, like unedited, not well shot videos? Who is that guy?
All of them?
No, there's like because a lot of them are really
some of them are really like produced.
really slick, but there's this one guy that's like known for kind of driving in his car. Let's see if I can find this guy.
About a year ago, I was like I was on the YouTube like, you know, workout kick, and then like the algorithm was just constantly flooding my feed with like dudes without their shirt off or dudes with their shirt off and like just nonsense, you know.
Yeah,
so that was fun.
Who's the some people say Vladimir, but no, this because even his thumbnails aren't optimized. This one guy I'm thinking about, and I've been thinking about that a lot. Just this idea of how am I showing up if I'm getting tired of really slick content that's designed for the algorithm. Like it's not designed for humans. It's designed to please the algorithm gods. It just feels like there's got to be other people that are tired of it too. And even if the masses are still consuming all this junk food, it feels like who I want to attract are these true fans or these real humans that are engaging in a deeper way with whatever I'm trying to communicate.
I tell you what, I think that there is a flip side to that, because I think you're totally right that it annoys me too, especially when it's so clear that everyone, whether it's YouTube or any other social platform, they're just trying to copy the formula that has worked for other people in terms of like what topics are they talking about, or what is the format or the flow of their videos, or how do they speak. Like, I mean, I see this all the time in my space, but you see it in every space, which is like, okay, there's a new feature from Claude Code. Like 15 different YouTubers are all going to cover that same exact feature because it's the hot thing and they know it's going to get a lot of clicks.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in doing that. To me, it's much more interesting both for me as the creator and I think this is actually how you win. You'll have a lot of. It's like a batter in baseball. Like the best batters, the best home run hitters strike out more than anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But when they hit, they hit.
Yeah,
And like that's what it's all about. I think it's like, so like when I'm coming up with a new idea for YouTube, and I'm not saying I have it all figured out. I'm just saying like what actually keeps it interesting for me to even do.
Yeah.
It's like I'm only going to make a video about something that I am thinking a lot about and I think is a unique and different take from what everyone else is currently talking about. Like, yes, I might be talking about Claude Code because that's generally popular because I happen to be using it a lot, but I want to talk about something that or like a take on it that people are not talking about. And like, I don't care if there's any, there probably isn't any evidence that my take is going to be received well. And you can even see that in my last like 3 or 4 videos. Like I did one on like finding flow with AI coding agents, like about, before AI, a thing for developers is you get into flow state where you're just really deep in the code and it feels good. You're in it for a few hours, but we've sort of lost that with AI because, you're giving a prompt and then you're sitting there waiting and then you fix it. And like, you sort of lost that flow. And I found sort of a workflow where I'm getting that flow back. And I did a whole video about that topic. It didn't completely flop, but like it didn't come close to the other stuff,
Yeah. And I think the question is, I think sometimes we're optimizing for this top line, which is, I want the 20,000 views or the 20, whatever it is. But in this 5,000 views, maybe those are actually the more important humans.
Yeah.
And
the other interesting thing, I'm see my most recent one there.
Yeah,
it
day
says
one with Claude Code.
Yeah, so that was a different. That was sort of an experiment. That video. It was one of the first where I was really trying to target not necessarily beginners, but it's just day one with Claude Code, like people who have not used Claude Code before. And so it's a little bit of a different. What I'm noticing in the comments is it's a different audience who's seeing that video than the rest of the videos are basically attracting Claude Code power users.
Yeah.
And most of the comments are very positive, and I think that they're really resonating with Agent OS and everything that I have to say, and my unique takes on this, and like what it means to find workflows and this stuff. Whereas people who are on day one of using Claude Code, maybe they just searched for Claude Code, I'm finding it's attracting a lot more people who are like skeptical of AI in general. They are, resentful of AI taking developers' jobs. They have nasty, YouTube comments that you see. Like I'm seeing a lot more of those in that video than I am in other ones. And like, that's a signal to me that like, okay, like I thought I might experiment with like seeing like, what can I do to maybe attract maybe the beginner side of this market.
Yeah.
And the signal that I'm getting back is like, nah, I don't think I like what I'm seeing over there. So I'm going to go back to what I've been doing,
Yeah, that's interesting. By the way, the weightlifter I was talking about was Sam Sulik. That's look at his thumbnails. Like he doesn't optimize these. It's just
that could be a good strategy too. Like again, like that's attracting like human. Like this looks raw.
Yeah, that was somebody in the chat here, Dabagaz. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name, but I was looking for this in Google, could not figure out who it was, but the panel chat comes through. Yeah, I think I've just been thinking about this a lot. This was a post I posted on Blue Sky about this too. Like when everyone's optimizing for the algorithm, all content just becomes copycat content. And then, originality is just getting replaced by people mimicking what else is working. to the point where when I was at this podcast conference, I was talking to somebody and they said their approach for their corporate YouTube channel is to go out and find out what titles, thumbnails, and topics and formats are working for other channels.
Dude, a lot of people are doing that. And it drives me nuts.
They duplicate it exactly.
Yeah.
Almost exact same title, almost exact same description, almost exact same thumbnail. And then they're basically doing their take on the content. So they'll, download the transcript and they'll be like, rewrite this, but for our company. It's like, what the fuck? Like, that's where we are right now. We're just going to be like, and you saw this on Twitter too. Like somebody, one of Sahil's tweets would blow up and then you'd see like 6 copycat tweets right after that. People just trying to get some of that juice.
My hope is that YouTube's algorithm will still get better and better and reward the truly unique and like it's not that like it'll make the unique and highest quality stuff go viral, but it will get it in front of the right people, even if there's a few number of people, and that could be great. That could be 10 new customers, and that's all you need for it to see. But you're right that like I mean I was literally just talking to someone the other day that like that's their strategy, and like that's what so many YouTubers are doing. And to me, it's like I don't understand how you could even do that. Like I would never want to do that as my job, just like scraping titles and transcripts and then just regurgitating them. Like, why is that? A that sounds boring as hell. I'm not going to do it. B, like, I don't see how that's even remotely a good strategy to sell your product.
Yes.
Like at the end of the day, I think it was Jason Fried talking about this recently on their podcast, on the Rework podcast.
Yeah.
He talks about it like marketing is a transfer of enthusiasm.
Yes, that was a great
I
article.
loved that quote. It's just a transfer of enthuusom. I was just pulling up the old Steve Jobs video where he introduces the iPhone for the very first time on that rewatching that always gives me goosebumps because like he's the master at just presenting and like, hey, check this out. This is why we think it's freaking awesome. And like there's nothing wrong with saying like, hey, I built this product, I'm selling it, and I think it's fucking great. You should read it. You should use it. Like,
yes.
There's really nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And because that is like true authenticity. And if that's not even driving you to create the product in the first place, then what are we doing here?
What I love about this enthusiasm topic is because the truth is of course we want to be real, but if you're going to get people to look at your website or look at your video or read your blog post or whatever, you still have to be somewhat entertaining or engaging.
Yep.
But what's so great about this enthusiasm angle is that's just naturally magnetic. So you can be authentic. You're showing up as your true self who's excited about something, but there's something about enthusiasm that's just like attracts people. They're like, oh, wow, this feels real. This person's fired up about it. And, there's so many people who I started following online and then have since become friends who the reason I was originally kind of noticed them was their enthusiasm. Caleb Porzio, Wes Bos, all of these people were like online and excited about what they were doing. And there is something magnetic about that and something real about it.
It's true. And actually, Jason was talking about this, about what DHH has been working on with Omarky, the Linux OS thing that he's been working on. And you're right, it is magnetic. It's like, why is that magnetic? When somebody keeps talking, keeps tweeting, keeps sharing about some product that they're creating and putting out to the world, why does that actually attract a customer base? Like the whole idea of building in public, and I'm not talking about just sharing revenue graphs, I'm talking about like sharing your product that you created, why you're excited about it, transferring that enthusiasm. Why that's this goes back to just being human all the time. Like putting in years of like being authentic on podcasts, being authentic on Twitter, you attract a small group of people who really care about you and your story, and they have a relationship with you, so that when you get really, really fired up about something, like DHH is currently about this Omarky thing, people take notice. It's like, wow, like this person that I've been following, they seem really into this Linux thing. Like that's weird. I never even thought to think about Linux, but he seems really, really fired up about it. And he keeps tweeting about it. Like maybe I should pay attention. And that's the whole idea, is like, I trust this person. I trust their taste. They are excited. What am I missing over here? So let me go see what that's all about, you know?
Yeah. This makes me think, let me talk about my trip to Toronto. My son, my two oldest kids are now in college. Sadie is in Victoria, and Marty.
That's got to be such a trip.
Just started going to college in Oakville, which is just a suburb of Toronto. So I've actually never been to Toronto. Like, I've been to the airport, but I've never been there. And so we went to get him set up. Downtown Toronto is incredible, actually. It feels like New York, but a bit cleaner. It's kind of like Chicago in that way.
I was there when I was a kid. I haven't been there recently.
Oh, the energy's great. I mean, I just love being in a big city. It felt so awesome. But then one of the things we did while we were there is I wanted to meet up with Adam Wathan, and then he kind of invited Caleb Porzio, lives in Buffalo, so he drove up. Buffalo's only like 2 hours from
Pretty
Adam's
close,
house.
yeah.
And so we all went to Adam's house. Wes Bos came out. And
yeah,
Steve
you sent me a picture. That was a power table right there.
Yeah. So here we all are. I loved this. This was so fun because I realized nobody's seen me with my kids. So
that's your son there on the top right.
Yeah, that's Marty right there. And so all these people that were, have known me for a long time, they were just like, "What? This is your kid? Like, this is what?" Caleb was like, totally. And then my son Marty's super into Linux, so we were talking about Omarchy and all that.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, like, is he into? He's into like software and stuff.
Yeah, he's into computers. He's like rebelled against his old dad and said, "I'm not doing Mac OS anymore. I'm doing Linux." He did that when he was like 13. Now he's 20.
But that means he's hardcore. I mean,
yeah, he's into like more game development and C# programming and other things. But it was so fun to have this hangout. And also just some of the things we talked about. Got to see Adam's new house, which is really cool. And even seeing so Adam has in his house, he has a big room, like right after you enter in the front door, he has a big room off to the left. And Steve comes over every day and works out of the room. It's like a co-working space in his house. It's got a big, long desk. And then Caleb was there working that day too. And there's it's kind of it was interesting to see kind of the regular pattern of Adam's life. I've seen him with his kids before, and I've met his wife before, but to see him in his house and see him interacting with his kids.
I always wonder about that too. It's like you see people in person at a conference or something, so then there's that level of it, like, oh, you're a lot taller, you're a lot shorter than you are than I think you are.
Yeah.
But then there's the whole other element of life.
I actually kind of want to do this more.
Meeting significant other, meeting their kids.
I want to do this more often. I think it's really healthy for my online relationships, and also just one of the things we talked about at this lunch was it'd be cool to do a conference where we do bring our families and our kids, just because it adds so much color and context, Yep. And even to see I think in this group, everybody has kids, but they're all maybe 11 and under. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of you as well, right? You're
11 and 9. My
11
girls.
and 9, yeah.
Yeah, but I do that. every year I go out to like Big Snow Tiny Comp. It's like 12 of us. And, been doing it for years. So I know these guys really well at this point. And we do it really, at least half of it is talking about life and family and kids and relationships. And the other half is all business. But like, that's always interesting, but still I haven't met most of their families. Only one guy we've gone out on like a double date with our wives, but like it's like, and that's always been fun because different age groups, some of them have kids more like your kid's age. Some of them, one guy just had his first child 4 months ago. So yeah, it's a range, it's fun.
That's kind of what I missed about MicroConf is that there used to be a lot more spouses that would go to MicroConf, and so you'd at least get a little bit more, hangout time. Like this is, so my wife here on the left here, she's met Adam because we hung out at MicroConf, and getting to spend time with people and at least seeing their significant other is pretty. There's something about it that I was just like, I want more of this. I'm actually seriously thinking about going to Caleb Porzio's doing his WireCon in Buffalo. And I thought, it would be fun to go hang out in Buffalo and just see where he lives, see his town. Because we're kind of all trying to figure out this business thing together, but what people see is such a small percentage. And obviously I can't let the world see my whole life. Like that would be too much. But for the trusted people who I've built relationships with to hang out with their families, hang out in their town, I think,
that's like one of the things I sort of love about this industry, having like made a lot of close friendships with people, because it's been an opportunity to meet people from literally so many different locations around the world and different backgrounds. And, very different from how I grew up, in the New York area, meeting you like from Canada and people all over the world, so it's been fun and interesting to, build some real relationships with people who have very different backgrounds or political views or like, just everything. But at the same time, it's like by that nature, we live so far apart. So it's still mostly like an online relationship. Maybe once in a while we get together in person, but
Anyway, it was very, it was great to be with them. It just reminds me of how important it is to get together with people in real life. Really interesting to hear about like Wes Bos and his business and what he's thinking. And just the catching up in real time. It's such high fidelity. It is.
I don't know Wes Bos, but I would like to hear more about his.
Oh, dude, we should
I
have
know.
him on the
I
show.
just know him from afar, but like his business is very interesting to me right now with what I'm doing with Builder.
I mean, he kind of was one of the early people that was doing like online courses in terms of for programming and web development, and so he's like basically because Sentry bought Syntax his podcast, and so he's about 20 hours a week is dedicated now to Sentry and the Syntax podcast.
Yeah.
So he's kind of totally shifted, but yeah.
So can I lay out for you what I'm thinking with builder methods in terms of, I've been going over this over the last couple of episodes on here, but I feel like I'm zeroing in on exactly what I think it's going to be, at least to start.
Let me hear it.
So this is still just a starting point, and it's just something to get the money flowing in this business, right? Like get to a point where I have some level of revenue coming in, and then I can figure out what's what and build on that, right? And so step number one is this very first workshop, and hopefully it'll be like something that I do regularly, maybe monthly-ish.
Can people just sign up for that? Is that public?
Yes, it's at the easiest way would be to just go to like buildermethods.com/workshops, and then there's I should have prepared a direct link. We'll put it in the show notes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I see it right here.
Yeah. So That is a live workshop. I put a $50 price tag on it. There's an early bird special to get it for $25 right now. Probably if I do this again, like I'll charge a little bit more for it. But the whole idea with these workshops is like low ticket price. And it's basically a way to like raise your hand. You've been in my audience of me talking about AI stuff.
Yeah.
You are a little bit more serious than the casual viewer. You're willing to take out your credit card and just hang out for like an hour or so. And I'll prepare like a slide deck, and I think that's going to be about half of it. And the other half is going to be like open discussion, ask questions, and let's talk about what we all are really curious about right now. I don't have all the answers, but I'm just going to host this discussion,
Yeah.
And so that's the idea. And then I think off of that, I want to actually start the ball rolling on what I'm thinking of as Builder Methods Pro. So
Okay.
I'll introduce that to the attendees at that workshop, and they would be the very first people who have the opportunity to join as members. Haven't fully finalized the pricing yet, but I am going to be doing the model, which most of these new membership launches do, which is like the first 50 members are going to get it at like the lowest price you're ever going to see it. And then like the next 50 members, it'll be a little bit more. And then once you get above something like 100 members, it's going to get to its like final destination for the price point,
Yeah.
So
what is going to be in Builder Methods Pro? That's the membership?
It's going to be a membership thing. Okay, so it's sort of like a little bit of a grab bag of benefits that you get.
By the way, I heard you and Jordan Gall talking about this. This is one of the podcasts I listened to while I was in Dallas. I heard you talking about it, and he was like pushing.
Yeah, we did our mid-year update on Bootstrapped Web.
Yeah,
we're on the twice-a-year schedule now.
And it was interesting because he was kind of pushing you towards like higher ticket. Like he was like, man, if you customize this for my team, I would pay $10,000, $20,000 or whatever it was.
Yes. Now, I'm not ruling that out, and obviously it makes sense. Jordan is always going to go toward like what is the highest ticket price thing that you could possibly sell with this, and he as a team leader sees value in it. Of course, I see the same thing, and I get inquiries about the same thing. But as a starting point, I'm just not trying to book my calendar solid with direct consulting engagements. That's not the business I'm building here.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, yes, I'm going to be selling that at some point. But that's not the main dish.
Yeah.
That's icing on the cake.
Yeah.
The main thing has to be this Builder Methods Pro. And what you get in that is access to a community, some sort of chat thing. I probably not going to go with Discord because I hate that. I don't know. Something.
What are you going to go with?
Not sure yet. Maybe Slack, maybe Campfire. I'm not sure. And then another key component to it, I think, is going to be this is the official support channel for Agent OS. So if you are using Agent OS, which is free and open source for anyone, and you want to ask a question and get a guaranteed response, you got to be a paid member in Builder Methods Pro to do that.
I like that.
But I have more open questions about that, which we could get into with the open source thing.
Okay.
In terms of like content. So again, I've been sort of going back and forth on like, do I do courses? Do I do mini courses? What does this look like? I'm now starting to think of it. I should have seen this earlier. There's other models for this. Much smaller, not even courses, just standalone lessons, 5-10 minute videos.
Yeah.
It's basically the Go Rails model. Like, he has built Go Rails on just an endless feed, a years in the making library of these 10-minute bite-sized guides.
I didn't realize that. It's a lot shorter.
They're all a lot shorter. And you can just search his library for like, all of those are little like jumping off points into these like 10-minute guides. They're not even like he did start to build out these sort of courses, but like generally speaking, it's like, if you want to just learn about a very specific thing, chances are you can find a 10-minute video about that inside GoRails, and he's going to walk you through that in 10 minutes. And I see building something like that with Builder Methods Pro for topics related to building with AI. Like how to get it, like if you're interested in using sub agents in Claude Code, I'll have a 10-minute video about that. If you're interested in using background agents with Cursor, I'll have a 10-minute video about that. Maybe, and I'll mix in some other things, maybe some like Tailwind lessons or some JavaScript or like little tricks and tools that I think are useful. But it doesn't have to be some big course curriculum. It's not going to be something that you got to spend a month watching. It's not going to take me months to create. I can just whip up these quick tutorials, and that's part of what you get access to. It'll just be an ongoing, growing library of these things. And I think that works so well for this in a bunch of ways. Like, number one, they're quick and easy for me to create, so I can just keep creating them on a regular basis. They're so small that, this space keeps changing. So I can, even if the subagents thing changes, I can just do another subagents video 3 months later. Like, it's not a big deal. And I think people just want shorter, quicker, just-in-time learning. They don't want to sit through a whole thing. So and I think that's another like benefit of joining so it's like you might become a member because you want access to this growing library of content. You might become a member because you want official support for Agent OS. You might become a member because you want to just connect with other builders in a community. Maybe you want all of those things. It's the single thing that I'll be promoting through Builder Methods Pro is like, or just Builder Methods in general. Like, once you become an email subscriber, or once you join a workshop, you're going to be promoted to become a member. Like, if you are a professional, if you're serious, you should get a pro membership. And then, later down the road, and this is like that's the main thing that I want to launch in September, and just see what early revenue for that looks like. And then I can figure out like, okay, where do we go from here? I assume that I'll layer on, engagements with teams, enterprise teams, and of course teams can just buy seats for their whole team in Builder Methods Pro. That's one option, or they can like hire me to do like a private workshop for their team. Like, that would be another option. And then maybe layer on sponsorships and stuff. But the main dish is just grow this Builder Methods Pro membership, and we'll see where we go from there.
I like the idea of shorter content. I think the whole struggle with this was AI moves so fast. It's going to be hard to update things. Right. But the nice thing about bite-sized videos is it might be more easy to update those.
Yeah, and it's like same thing in GoRails. I've been a member in there, and like there's like videos from like 2021 on some gem that it's half of it is like not accurate anymore. And then, maybe a year or two later, he'll get around to like doing an updated version of that. And he does sometimes, but it's like, there's just always something,
One thing I'm wondering about, this might not be practical or for you or whatever, but in terms of updating content, video content faster, I've been thinking a lot about Descript. So, I'm editing this video in Descript here on the web, and then they have these web links, right? So if I copy this over, this updates so fast when it comes to like when I make a change here in the web app, this public link updates so fast. You can embed these, which is interesting. And then the other thing I found out is that there's actually these hidden,
like a dynamic clip or something?
There's hidden HLS playlist manifest URLs with these. So here, I'll just find it here quick. So yeah. So if I open this, you guys won't see. Actually, I'll just share my screen here. I just figured this out the other day. I don't know if these stay static, but I think this could be cool for a course if they do.
Where it's like a section of the video you could just swap out.
Yeah, how come you can't see? Can I just do my entire screen here without exposing anything personal here? Yeah, I'll just show you this. I think this is okay. Am I showing anything? Okay, I think I'm okay. So, like, look at this right here. This, this is one of these little. It's called Downy. You can download things. But look, here's the link to the actual HLS stream, and then if you put this in like one of these HLS video stream testers, it works. So you could theoretically have a Go Rails style course or whatever and embed these Descript HLS playlists and still have updated content straight from your video editor, which I think is cool. Like if you needed to update stuff all the time.
That is really cool. I mean, like you can even take the next level, and Descript has this. You can like, if you've already recorded the video, you can just change the script.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, like,
I
just like type in some update to the content.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what's cool is that it's fairly easy to copy stuff in, or I mean, you could even their AI generated stuff is a little bit weird, but
yeah. I mean, so that like I think that is a starting point. It's still very much an open question on like how much solid recurring revenue could actually be there. I think it'll be a very, very slow burn to get to a really good place, like call it like above 10K a month even.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm underestimating it, but like it's going to take a while to get there and I haven't solidified the price point for this thing yet, but it's not going to be super high because I don't think that this type of thing in this audience has like a high tolerance for, like it's not a super low tolerance for price point. Like there are definitely people who will pay a very high, and I'll have like I am thinking about like offering like an upsell version where it's like you do get a private coaching session with me like once a quarter or something like that. Like that'll be priced higher, and we'll see how many people go for that. But my early evidence so far, either both looking at the market and also seeing a lot of people inquire about direct coaching with me, and I give them a price for that and very few bites on that.
Okay.
It's telling me like, because I could see what competitors in the space charge, and some of them even show how many members they have. So like I could see like there's some market for like coming off of YouTube, people do join these communities. It's a question on like how long do they stay and how much are they willing to pay. And I do think that like over time, like if I can start to get a sense for like exactly how many new members can I attract every single month into Builder Methods Pro, and if it's some like non-zero number, then I can figure out like, okay, now how do I just throw a lot more traffic into the top of this funnel so I can keep growing that like new member conversion rate every month.
Yeah.
But then it's also a question of like, now how do we get more upsells into a coaching option, or attract more teams to buy 20 seats at a time, or attract more teams to book me for a private workshop. But again, like my main priority is like longer term. It's like, how do I just build a great company that I can sink into for 10 years? But short term, it's like, I want to eliminate everything else that I do and just do this.
Yeah.
Consulting, like I do some Clarity Flow support. I would love to just hire someone for that and remove myself and just focus on Builder Methods, doing YouTube, doing lessons for the members, doing workshops for the members, and selling memberships. Like I could do that full time. That's the goal,
Yeah.
And like building tools all the time and showing the work. Like that's what I want to be doing.
And what was the original, when you kicked off this discussion just now, you were saying, I want to talk about, were you wanting to talk about the workshop in particular, or how to get people to upgrade to Builder Methods Pro, or what are some of your questions around that?
Let's see. I know how I'm going to. I've done this sort of like pitch and launch motion before. I'm not new to that. The bigger question that I am very new to right now is managing a free open source product in Agent OS that actually has some traction. Like I literally have never had I've never offered an open source product before. Like if you look at my profile on GitHub, there's like one, it's Agent OS. And so Let's see.
And what's the volume look like for Agent OS right now? Like, is there kind of significant inbound issues and other things right now, or what's
I'll just look at it. Here, how do I share my screen here?
Yeah, I'm curious about how much inbound you're seeing already, how many comments, and
maybe you can share the screen.
Yeah, I've got it up here. Hold on.
If you go to the GitHub page.
Yeah, I got it right here. So I see.
So it's got like 1.3K stars, which is not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, but like it's only like less than 2 months old. And as of right now, there's like 12 open issues that I haven't responded to. There's 9 pull requests that I haven't even looked at. There's a bunch of discussions that I pretty rarely chime in on. And so my question, and people are starting, okay, so every single day I get emails coming through my contact form on buildermethods.com asking support questions. Like they're just asking, like, just like it's a support inbox. They're just asking like, oh, I had this problem with installation. How does this work? And this and that, right? So I get those just cold emails all the time. I get Twitter DMs from people, same thing, support questions. I get a lot of YouTube comments asking support questions. And then there's the GitHub. So look, this is a free open source product. I can't sustain just manning the support inbox all the time and offering real support to everyone for free. Like that's just not going to sustain. So I think the plan right now, and maybe you can correct me or people can tell me like this is the wrong way to handle it, but I think I'm going to start to set up the GitHub so that like I still need to like set up the GitHub so that like if somebody tries to put in an issue, they have a system for like, okay, you can push them to a discussion or you can push them to like, if this is a, I don't know, like there can be some response, like before they're even able to post an actual issue, I'll promote to the official support channel is through Builder Methods Pro. You can buy a membership here. So basically I would think of it like the issues will remain open. Like I do want to receive issues if there's an actual bug in the software that needs to be fixed, right? And so that's what issues should be for. And then discussions are for things like, that's like the community. Like I'm not going to be, I don't have to chime in on the discussions on GitHub.
Yeah.
You know, people can just make their feature requests. People can do their own Q&A for free. It's open. Just go ahead and do that. But just know, like, you can't expect a response from me over there. I'll probably add like a pinned thing to the very top that says like the official support channel is Builder Methods Pro. And you can even see at the top, like somebody's asking, this is not the first person who's been asking, like they want a Discord server.
Yeah.
And I'm not just going to launch a free Discord server. Like there's no way I'm just going to manage a free community. Like that's just not going to happen.
I mean, that is tricky though. It's tricky because there's a balance here, I think.
Like I don't want to rub people the wrong way. I don't want like issues to pile up that look unresponded. So I do need to start to do some housekeeping around like, and I could probably set up some bots where it's like, because people will still post issues for things that are not bugs. They're just like support questions. And like that should just like convert it to a discussion or automatically close it and say like Builder Methods Pro is the place.
Yeah, I think it does probably make sense to say, you know, if you want quicker responses, the official, the official channel is Builder Methods Pro. On the other hand, I think a lot of the people who have built these big open source projects for like the first while, and maybe even still to this day, they just engaged a ton with the GitHub community, open source GitHub community. Like Taylor Otwell still, I think he opens up the project every day, the Laravel open source project, and answers PRs.
But there's also just like the reality of it. Like just given my reality of where I sit here in my business, Like there's a lot of people who run a very popular open source thing, but they are backed by a big company or they have a job or something, right? Like I am a bootstrapped business owner here.
Yeah.
Like I don't, this is not backed by a big company. So there's just the reality. Like I just do not have the hours or the mental bandwidth to troubleshoot every free user's issue.
Yeah.
I feel like the balance there is like I have to offer really good and up-to-date documentation. Like the answer to every question should be in the docs if you're just willing to find it yourself.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with the Tailwind docs. Like I don't think you can just email Adam's team and get an answer.
Well, they do. Peter Soom does support for Adam part-time.
Yeah, but they have pro memberships.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good question. How they manage that, I don't.
You know,
I don't know.
and then like the other thing that happens a lot. This is I'm still wrapping my head around like how to handle this. Is like I get a lot of these pull requests. Most of them are things that, like some of them are fixes that, and when it's a true fix, like something I screwed up and somebody was nice enough to fix it, I merge it in. I've done that a few times. But a lot of these are just like, yeah, I built this other integration with this other CLI. You know, it's like, first of all, I don't have the time to review it. Second of all, it's a tool that I don't use myself, so I can't like maintain this as a new feature in the product, you know, for forever going forward. I can't support it. I can't write docs for it. So most of these I was talking to Adam about this. I was like, what do you do about all these people who just submit PRs for features that you're just not going to implement? And he's just like, yeah, like I think what he said was like, yeah, running an open source project is an exercise in like crushing people's dreams every single day.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, saying like, sorry, can't do it. You know?
I think this is the hard thing. Even here in chat, Junta is saying, how much are you willing to take contributions from the community? Because, you know, that's kind of like the benefit, you know, of open source theoretically is that.
And I do, like, I've even already taken a lot of feedback and requests. A lot of that is being folded into AgentOS 2.0 that I'm actively working on right now.
Yeah.
So it's really great. Like that's where I really value the discussions tab, right?
Yeah.
People requesting a feature and then people upvoting it and people suggesting improvements. I've already released some improvements to it based on seeing the feedback from people.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot more stuff that I'm just like.
I mean, I think this is kind of the thing is that it seems like most successful open source projects, the most valuable contributions are actually not being made by just like these drive-by open source contributors. I think that's the dream is like, oh, this is all this crowdsourced like improvement, like Wikipedia, like everybody's. But I think similar to Wikipedia, there ends up being a core team of people that are working on it. And I mean, Dave Junta is saying that too, like you need a core team. I could see you partnering with a few core people who are just incredibly valuable and aligned with your vision and having them help you. Yeah. But I, from what I've heard from other people, they're just like, there's just so many people contributing their pet project, their pet thing. And you're just like, also sorry, it's not going to happen.
Also, I think that there are different types of open source projects and like the why behind why are they actually open source, right? I think of what I'm doing with AgentOS much more similar to what Adam did with Tailwind, what Caleb did with Livewire, in that like we have a very specific vision for what we want. Like for me, like I know what I'm solving for with AgentOS. There's like a very core mission behind it, which is like make agents build the way that I would want it to be built and make them follow my process more reliably than just hoping for like a 50-50 chance of that. Like it's a process management tool is really what it is for AI coding agents. So I'm constantly trying to improve those two metrics. Like, is it following instructions reliably? and is it building my way?
Yeah.
And so like Adam had his, and he still has his vision for Tailwind. And also like these are like very new tools. Like there was Bootstrap, there was like other CSS frameworks, but like Adam's whole concept for Tailwind flipped everything on its head. And I feel like with mine, like, yeah, there's people doing somewhat similar things, but it's like, it's coming like organically out of like, I'm just trying to solve this problem in whatever way that I have a personal vision for. So what I'm saying is like, I'm just trying to build a thing. I didn't even expect it to be this popular in 2 months.
Yeah.
But then there's like another type of open source project where it's really like they put it out to the community. Like the more people that can contribute to this thing, the better this product is going to become. And and I don't even know how they manage that, but like that's
I've never actually seen a successful open source project like that.
You could
think,
maybe make the argument that like things like WordPress or even like
but WordPress has a core team
they all establish a core team at some point, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Rails is the same way. And I think this goes back to our enthusiasm conversation, which is what ends up being a magnet and what ends up being attractive about these projects is that there is an enthusiastic either leader or an enthusiastic leader plus core team who are opinionated about where it's going, who are actually building real stuff with this. Like they're not just people at home going, oh, theoretically, this would be interesting. No. Like when Adam's working on Tailwind, he's like, how do I want to style and design websites? That's what we're doing. We're not your pet project of whatever you want to do. Fine, go do your own thing. This is what we're doing. And DHH, like people want him to add all sorts of stuff to Rails.
Yeah. Like if it's not going in Basecamp, it's probably not going in Rails. You know?
Where do most of the new Rails things come out of? It comes out of like what Basecamp wants, what Shopify wants. It's like real projects and to have that kind of opinionated, enthusiastic, and a leader, I think, who has a vision is so important. I don't think you can do it any other way.
I think that's exactly how I'm approaching it. Like I started building this newsletter lab tool using AgentOS 1.0, and I ran into a bunch of things that like I'm using it as designed, but it still doesn't achieve that perfect balance of like, is it building it how I would build it? Is it following my instructions every time? So that led me into 2.0. Like I have a new rethink on how AgentOS should be architected, right? So I do have this vision and it's out of my own needs. Like I want to be able to build tools with it. But it's like striking that balance between like building toward my vision and embracing and welcoming this community around it. Like what's more important? Is it like making this product as great and aligned with my personal vision as possible? Then I need to dump all of my energy in that. Or is it like spread? Like, I don't even think I'm at the point where I care about it spreading in terms of usage. Because if I really cared about like lots and lots of people adopting this in a widespread way, then I feel like offering great support and evangelism and all of that is more important. But like, I'm not in that phase of development yet, right? Like right now it's like, how do I fund my time for this? And the answer is going to be Builder Methods Pro. And how do I make this an actually useful tool, you know? Like, cause I think it's actually getting to the point now, especially with what's coming in 2.0, where it's becoming like a really powerful tool. Like I feel like it's the type of product that I would normally want to charge for as an actual software product. But I think the nature of it being in this like AI space, that's why I made it open source or free. Is because like the space is changing so much. Like 2.0 is embracing things in the coding tools that are here right now, but they might not be here 6 months from now. So I can't have my paid software product have the rug pulled out from under it when Claude code changes or when Codex changes or something like that. So I don't know like what the future is going to hold. And that's why I think that like a tool like this should be open source. I also really like that it's, I think why a lot of people resonate with it is that it is unbiased. It's biased towards my vision of what it should be, but I don't come from Anthropic. I don't come from OpenAI. I don't come from Google. So like when I had calls with people like team leaders who are using it, and I think it's also why people resonate with my content is that like I'm not trying to push my tool that I want you to pay for.
Yeah. It's agnostic.
It's agnostic. Like Claude Code is great, but Claude Code also kind of sucks sometimes. And Codex is great, but they have some shortcomings over here. And like I'm being real about what those are, and I'm building Agent OS to be like the best thing for whatever, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's interesting in the chat. There's lots of questions about this tension between, is this an open communal project or is this an opinionated leader driven project? And I think one thing I'll say is I've just never seen a truly community run project that didn't have a strong leader and a core team. Like when it's just like, hey, let's all contribute to this thing, it'll be great. And even Wikipedia doesn't run that way. Like I think like the vast majority of Wikipedia edits are done by this tiny percentage of super editors.
I think it's really a matter, and this goes for paid products too, but definitely with open source, what you're saying, I think is like, it does start with a person's vision. They're scratching their own itch.
Yeah.
Right. This is exactly what I'm doing. And if how I'm approaching it resonates with you, and if you like how I solved it, then come on in. Let's go.
Yeah.
And, you know, like think about all the people, and I'm one of them, probably everyone else was so slow to adopt Tailwind CSS because it is so different. It flips CSS on its head. It's anti all the best practices that we learned for decades before that. But a couple months later, a year later, I'm like, you know what? It is better. It's so much. And then I'm like, oh, it's so much better. You know?
Yes.
I'm not trying to compare what I'm doing to what Adam did with Tailwind, but it's like eventually people just came around to Adam's opinion, you know?
And I think the other important piece is that it is still open for people to make meaningful contributions to the project. But I think sometimes people feel like because it's open source, they have a right to suggest or contribute whatever they want. And it's like, no. It's like, this was my vision. This was my thing. I'm giving it away for free for you to use it. You can make suggestions for it. And if you're aligned with me, come on board, like prove yourself, get in the weeds, fix some stuff, help me close some PRs. And yeah, maybe you can eventually get to the point where you're a part of the core team and you're helping make some of these higher end decisions.
Yeah.
But the idea that you're going to let any sort of random person drive by with their opinion and it's like, no, I created this. And the reason you're all here is because it's achieved some level of distribution. Yeah. And I think that's the piece, is that people see something getting traction, and then they're like, oh, Tailwind's getting traction, but I want it to work more like Bootstrap.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no.
Well, then go use Bootstrap. You know, then you're not a Tailwind person. Okay.
We're not doing that here. You know,
Yeah.
This is, and of course there is a tension here. You have to, I think the hard thing about open source is you still do need to engage in a respectful way.
That's what, you know, that's the thing that I want to be like really clear about. I've been so pleasantly surprised at what it's like to hear from users of an open source product. Again, I have really no experience in being the creator behind it, but like almost every single comment, every single email, every single message I get starts with like, thanks so much for creating this. It's been really positive. You know, I really appreciate you doing this. I do have one question, or I do have one issue that, like, you know, But
Yeah.
it's all good natured. And there've been zero complaints about like my lack of response time on the GitHub discussions or anything like that. Like, and it's all like in my head, like because I'm used, like when a Clarity Flow support message comes in, and these are paying customers of Clarity Flow, we make sure that every single question gets an answer. Like nobody's gonna go unanswered because they're paying customers. And it does bug me that I have active users of my tool who I just cannot sustain answering every single message. The volume, it's not overwhelming, but if I gave every single message the kind of time that they really deserve to get a good, solid answer back, that's just not sustainable, you know?
It does feel like there's like a book here or a course for people like you that are running these open source projects and like how to do it. Like I did a quick search and there's different
I think
blog
Adam
posts
did
and
something
stuff,
about. Wait, let me see if he gave me a link. But Adam did point me to something in their policy on the Tailwind.
Tailwind CSS open source policy. Let's see if there's.
Let me find the link that he gave me. Yeah, here. Let me see if I can give you this link to pull up.
Yeah, just throw it in Telegram and I'll grab it.
Like their policy on contributing.
Okay, let's check this out.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
That was somebody else. That's a different project. Hold on.
I mean, even this is helpful. I think being clear about expectations, and then when somebody,
He gave me the Tailwind one. Yeah, here it is.
yeah, because you must have to be careful
actually,
about all this stuff.
I just sent that last one to Adam. I got to tell him. He's not going to know what the hell I just sent him.
Okay. So here's like contributing. Okay, yeah. Development workflow, new features.
Oh shit! I still sent it to the wrong Telegram chat.
But I got it, right? This is it,
Okay.
isn't it?
Yeah, that was our
Yeah.
YouTube chat. It was like 18 other people.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think having kind of expectations is super helpful. Like and being clear about them. And then if people are like getting upset in the discussions or whatever, you just say, here's the policy. And
yeah, like where's the thing that he said? Like,
and even building it and even referencing like we've based this on what
like
other
this paragraph.
open source projects are doing.
Yeah, Adam said like, and he pointed to a bunch of other projects that do the same thing. It says like, please note, we don't often accept pull requests for new features. Period. You know, adding a new feature to Tailwind requires us to think through the entire problem ourselves and make sure that we agree with the proposed API, which means the feature needs to be high on our own priority list for us to be able to give it the attention that it needs. And I mean, I would even add to that like even if I kind of sort of agree that it would be a good feature to add, I also need to agree that it's worth me committing to maintaining that feature for the lifetime of the product and for documenting it and for supporting it for people. Like that's a big, that those questions go whenever I'm deciding on a feature to build in any of my products. Like it's not only about like, do I think it's a good feature? It's also like long term, can we actually commit to supporting this feature? You know?
Yeah. This is interesting. I think folks at home, if you've got ideas on how if you've seen, you've been a part of your own project and you've seen how it's worked well, it'd be cool to hear about that. But it does feel like this could almost be its own like meetup, like open source project owners, anonymous, where you just
it's like I feel like I am in a little bit of a unique space with it, and then we can hop over to you. But like the main question on my mind is that like I feel like the super popular big open source projects are already backed by an established business, or they come from a huge company who's just paying developers to maintain some bit like whatever.
I mean, they didn't start like that though. Like Laravel was not backed by a big company when it started out. and
No,
Livewire
but he
wasn't
was
either.
employed at the time, right?
He was employed. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think Caleb was employed when he started Livewire, right? I think. I'm not
That's
sure.
right. Yeah, yeah.
So like things like that. So then I wonder is like I'm not employed. I'm in startup mode on a bootstrapped business, which has an open source thing. So like what is the playbook in that situation?
Yeah. Yeah, like how can you harness some of this excitement and manage your own personal margins so that you don't
Yeah.
get burnt out. Yeah, dude, that's that'll be interesting to watch. I mean, it's awesome, but sometimes you can have too much good opportunities all at once.
Yeah. I know we're running a little long, but I don't know if you wanted to cover that thing.
Yeah, I mean, let's quickly just talk about. We'll
Yeah.
end on this effort, outcome, asymmetry. I'm just fascinated by this. I've brought it up so many times. I also had this Blue Sky post that I think is just interesting to me and maybe not interesting to other people, but I came up with a scenario like you spent $100,000 on ads in 2025. Kind of feels like a Derek Sivers thing. Sales jumped by 50%. What a great campaign, you said. But then you took a time machine back and spent $0 on ads. But surprise, sales still increased by 50%. Not every input drives the outcome.
Yep.
And this came up again when I was hanging out with Adam Wathan and all them. You know, sometimes you push an object, you apply force to an object, and it just moves with, you know, whatever force you're applying. But sometimes you push an object and it goes way further, right? The same force applied has way more leverage, way bigger outcome. And that asymmetry is so interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about this all the time. I'm thinking about with my kids, you know, like the difference between the mean starting salaries of a counseling degree versus a business degree versus a comp sci degree versus a comp sci degree with an AI major, you know, like those are, it's all the same, relatively the same amount of input, right? It's 4 years of your time, but the leverage you get from some of those activities is much greater on the other side. And I've started to try to think about how I can think about this. I think it is possible to have this in mind when we're starting new projects or evaluating existing projects. And I just started thinking like, you know, for a new project, like how much is this bet going to cost me? What is the foreseeable outcome from this bet? How likely is this to happen? And maybe a lot of this came out of that conversation I had with Jason Cohen as well. You know, his framework for
Yeah,
like
I heard some of that when you were talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a great concept. It resonates with me because I thought about the same thing. But I think what you're trying to do here on the second half of this is like how, like knowing that this is the case. Like we all know it's like sort of like the age old like 80-20 principle, right?
Yep.
And knowing that exists, that like sometimes we'll, like if we put the same investment in, one might 10x the outcome of the other. How can we use that to our advantage, or how can we make sure we're getting that 10x more often out of the time? But on the other side of that coin, in my opinion, from a creative standpoint, it just reminds me of the fact that like I've been coming back to this idea for so many years in my life. The best ideas just flow out of you super fast. They just come out fast, no matter like it. And so like the first time I started recognizing this, like I've been writing songs on the guitar for so many years.
Yeah.
Since I was a kid. I still do it today. And I've had songs that I just labor over. Like I kind of like this riff, but it's not coming together, and I'll just slam my head on it for like weeks. And you know what comes out of that? A pretty mediocre song. And then other times I'm just like noodling around and something comes out, and in like 5 minutes later, it's like one of my favorite songs ever came out. And I've heard other musicians talk about the same thing.
Yeah.
The same thing has happened with products. I think that Agent OS is one of those things. It's something that I hacked together the first version in like 2 days, and it sort of resonated. And other things like that have happened, like where it's like, it's like a thought in a shower turns into a whole company.
Yeah.
And it's like
those serendipitous.
Part of it is like, you want to optimize it. You want to try to increase your batting average, but part of me is just like, you can't.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best things are just going to come fast, and other times you think
I
might
think
be
you
onto
can.
something. But
I think you can increase your batting average because it's clear that we know people, and I think you and I are these people. There are some people that are just more likely to hit on something than others. And I think what differentiates those people is they are kind of consistently putting things out into the world.
Yeah.
And I also think as you've done that, you start to get an intuitive sense for when there's something magical happening. Now, you still might, Adam, like we started this whole podcast off with Adam coming on and going, man, I tried 6 things and they all failed and I feel like an absolute failure. And I think you and I were looking at him going, yeah, but that's just part of being the kinds of...
You got to tailwind.
Yeah. And also just being the kind of people that do eventually hit some gold. Because to put yourself in the place where you could do that, you have to increase your luck surface area. And how do you do that? And there are some people that are just consistently losers.
All right, we've got the clip. We're going to clip that. We're going to broadcast it out.
But I think it's important to say this because I think everybody has the potential theoretically to be a winner. There is something about building an intuitive sense.
This is becoming like a motivational seminar or something.
I think there is something about having an intuitive sense of, it's like you can keep chasing after things that just most people who have shipped a lot of things will go. This is why advice from Jason Cohen is so helpful. He's had so many experiences. He's advised so many people. And he can look. Now, there's some things him and I disagreed about. He was pushing back on some things that I think differently about. But the fact that he was able to like pinpoint how I was feeling, the circumstance I'm in, all that stuff, it's because he's had enough experience and gained enough intuition that he's able to kind of instantly get a sense of the room and go, I think I know what's going on. And
yeah.
I think that creative people eventually can figure out, oh, I've got an intuitive sense of which way to go here. Even decisions like your decision of, I'm going to start publishing on YouTube, right? You could have focused on being like, you know what? No, I'm going to be ideologically, I'm going to be an AT protocol person. I'm just going to publish all my stuff on Blue Sky because ideologically that's really important to me. And I think that's sometimes what causes people to fail, is this rigidness and not being able to kind of feel what's happening here, what's rising, what opportunities are out there.
I wanted to pick up on that, the opportunity cost. You touched on this in your original piece.
Yeah.
Because this is what gets me, and this has been a tension that I've been dealing with, I feel like my whole career. And it's something that I see things differently than some other people do. And that is this idea of yes, I put a lot of things out there. Not as many as I want to, by the way. Like I look at a guy like Josh Pigford, and I'm continuously jealous at his pace of not only the ability to create and ship, And sometimes I think he overdoes it maybe,
I think he overdoes it personally.
but
I love
still
Josh,
but he is that like true creator of like just throwing stuff out there, and when something sticks,
I think that's an example of an approach that doesn't work. Honestly,
maybe.
Is like,
okay,
is
but
that,
like I guess
it's like this undirected. It's like no. Like just pause for a second and think about opportunity costs. And
but that's what I'm saying, is that I think there's also the flip side to that. Because a lot of people will say, like, if you have an inkling of success, like a few customers for a thing, like, should you go all in on that for a year or more?
No, because there's still not enough information. I think this is kind of the skill set you can build up, which makes me think that you can learn some of this, which is once you've done this enough, you realize a couple customers is actually not enough to justify going all in on something.
But there is a school of thought out there, and I constantly want to push back on this, which is like when people from afar will armchair quarterback your business and say, like, you had something there. Yeah. If only you doubled or tripled down on it, you could have gotten it to a place. Instead, you followed a shiny object. What my pushback on that would be, like, I've seen when an idea hits traction fast.
Yes.
And this or that idea did not come fast. It was a slow grind to get to where it was. So if you triple that grind, it's not going to get to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree that it often, the things that take off do just happen quickly. On the other hand, like Nathan Barry with Kit, that was more of a slow grind, and he still decided to commit to it. But I think it kind of followed a similar reasoning, which was he was looking at the course business, and he was like, all the people I know that are in this business, this is what their businesses look like once they've scaled to this level. And he was like, that's not going to get me personally where I want to go. He felt like there was an opportunity in email. It did take longer than he thought it would, but he still had this intuition that it was worth pursuing. And sometimes you just have a gut feel of it. Taylor Otwell, even, he didn't make money off Laravel for years, but he just had this feeling like, I think this is worth pursuing. And I think the hard thing,
I do think that the pitfall that people, maybe more newer entrepreneurs might run into here, is that, like, they fall in love with their one idea. And it's like they just keep hacking on that one idea. And even before having any customers, but even if you have a few, like, it's like an unwillingness to pivot or to even consider other ideas, or to let yourself get excited about other ideas, because it's like you don't want to admit failure on this first idea. I think people who've been around for a long time, especially the more creative, like ship a lot of businesses or products type people, start to get comfortable with the idea that, like, I can be really excited about something for 3 months, for 6 months. And if I'm not still excited about it. And look, like, if it's making a lot of money, I'm going to keep being excited about it. Like, these things do go hand in hand. It's not like I stop being excited about things that are making a lot of money.
Yes.
Like, usually like one influences the other. But at the same time, I'm also, the reason why I'm continuously like a bootstrapper and not I feel like taking a lot of investment commits you to one idea. Like, you're obligated to follow that idea for a longer period of time, see it through. You miss out on that optionality. You miss out on the opportunity.
I also don't think if there's a tuning fork that gets better with age as you have experiences, a venture-backed startup, I think, kind of it precludes you from getting that intuitive sense or building up that intuitive sense of,
I think in the beginning,
this is working and this isn't.
You can have that vision and that conviction, and then you go out and raise a bunch of money off of that conviction. And if you have the skill sets, and if you're at least partially right on that conviction, then that could be a great thing to do with your career. But it takes a lot of personal commitment to say, like, I've got this inkling of an idea. I'm willing to invest 5 years of my career on this thing.
Yes.
You know,
one of the foundational experiences for me was in my early 20s, starting this skateboard retail shop and experiencing how much work that was, all of it, how much effort went in and how much effort and resources went into that shop. You know, tens of thousands of dollars, so many hours. And then after that failed, going and working for a software company and seeing the difference in way less effort applied, but way bigger outcome.
Yeah.
And it was just so stark. And having done other things too, like having done, you know, freelancing, building WordPress websites and being like, hour in, you get paid. And then like, there's just some things where your input, your initial effort produces way bigger results. And as soon as the foundational piece is just having that realization that, you know what, I'm working way less. It was way less work to start Transistor. It was still a lot of work, way less work than starting a retail company.
Yeah.
And once you have that, it's like, why would I take this bet where it's 2,000 hours of time, $300,000 in inventory, and your chance of success and your possible outcome in terms of what you can earn for your family and everything is so low. So you're betting all of this time and money for something that's just marginally better. And even that, you'd have to be in the top 10% to get it. I think that's what I'm really eager for people to think about is all you have to do is just start thinking through these scenarios. Like, oh, you want to start a restaurant? Maybe that's the right answer for you, but still think about like effort, time. What else could I do with my effort, time, and resources? And would there be a possibly better avenue for those resources that might give me a better result?
Yeah, and I think there's also like a through line that connects back to like, you know, the Jason Fried DHH philosophy, which is not for everyone, but the thing that always resonates with me is that like that transfer of enthusiasm, like it's they have this mindset of like a business or a product is only worth doing if they are fired up about it personally. Like if they want to use it, if it scratches their own itch, because if there's a lot of people who, and a lot of successful business people who can just look at any market out there, just pick any market that where there is a market, and they can just like analyze, like an analytical, opportunistic approach to say like, there's a market there, people buy those products. That is validation that I should go build that product. I don't care if I have a personal connection to it. I don't care if it scratches my own itch. I don't care if I'm one of those people. There's something there, so I'm just going to build that. Yeah. And people can be successful with that. I'm just not one of those people. Like for me, like in order to find any level of success in marketing or funnel or action or that enthusiasm, like it has to be something that I create out of like scratching my own itch. And I think that like there's like this balancing act for people I think like us that like are always like balancing this like entrepreneurship thing and this like creative fire thing. And you see that in like in Basecamp, and you see that in some like, you know, it's a balance between like, it's not just about like follow your passion or do something like, because there can be a lot of failure in that too, business wise. It's finding that balance between like, I'm fired up about this thing and I put out this lightning rod that like other people sort of resonate with it. Now let's go. You know?
Yes. And I will say evaluating and thinking about the possible best outcomes. And maybe there's no better example of this than David and Jason from 37 Signals sharing their book royalties that they've earned so far.
I don't think I heard that.
Dude, this came up in our conversation in Toronto, and they released, I'll try to find it, but it's like, if I can remember, total book royalties for their books, which have been incredibly popular, rework especially, something like $2 million. So here are, two.
I forgot,
people,
was rework self-published or did they go through a publisher?
They went through a publisher.
Okay.
Here's two people at the top of their game in this category, book publishing. Like there's other people higher than them, like Mark Manson and other folks. But in terms of having an audience and then being able to sell a book and it being on the bestsellers list, that's them. And
yeah, that's the first time I'm hearing that number, and I feel like that doesn't really surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me, but I think what's instructive about it is when you're choosing where to dedicate your time and energy. For them, their books are just a nice to have. That's just an offshoot. But if you are a creative person who said, you know what, I have a choice. I can either build Basecamp or I can be a full-time author, and they're both equally interesting and you're equally passionate about them, that there is an evaluation about what is the most likely outcome here. And again, maybe if $2 million in total sales for whatever they over 10 years is fine for you, then go after that dream. But there's the idea that you can apply the same effort in two very distinct categories, but one has just way bigger outcomes is something that should be on our minds all the time. There's always an adjacent possible, and the trap I think is that you could dedicate your life to something and not be considering like, well, there's other things I can apply these same skills and passions to that might produce better results.
I'm always trying to stay in tune with when I feel like something is a grind or when I'm forcing it.
Yes.
And that can come in different forms. It could come in like, I'm just putting a lot of sweat hours into this thing and I'm not seeing a lot of return, or I'm not confident that there will be a return. Yeah. So that could feel like a grind. Or like I've had times where I'm like, all right, I have a little bit of cash to play with, or I have some investment or something. Like, let's see what happens if I can throw $10,000, $20,000 at this campaign. Like, let's see what kind of success I can buy with this money.
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't pay off. Like that, then it's like, these are signals that it's like, all right, this just feels forced, That's why I always like the idea of just starting with something successful, came out fast. There's that early signal that's the lightning. Now let's throw the fuel on the fire. Let's double, triple down on that. Let's put the dollars behind it. Even like right now with Agent OS, the first version came fast and I think it's pretty good, but I've already found holes with it. But if nobody was using it and it was bringing no traffic into my funnel for my new business here, there's no way I would be pouring all the hours that I'm pouring into 2.0 on it, Yeah. But I'm fired up by the traction that I'm seeing with it. So here I am building 2.0,
Yeah. Here, I just found this royalties thing. I'll put this in the show notes as well. Where is it? Here, right here. So if I'm reading this right, because they have cumulative and current. So here's the statement from October 1st to March 31st. But they have cumulative earnings here. And the total cumulative earnings for rework, 577,000 copies sold, is $2 million. That's wild.
Yeah, and that's just rework. They've had a few other books. But yeah, that's definitely the bigger one. It doesn't really surprise. Not that I know what the range of royalties would be for business books like this. But the thing that doesn't surprise me about it is that like I know like in our circles it's one of the all-time greats. So we think of it as this like big success story, and it is to a certain extent. But I also think that like our circles are very small in the in the bigger category of business, right? So I don't know like what the biggest business books ever, but like is Rework even in the? It's not close to like the top 10 of like all-time business.
It's probably
books.
in the top. I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the top 25 or the top 50.
Maybe, but I think it's still a little bit niche. It doesn't seem like you wouldn't think that about like from where we sit, but if you walk into Barnes and Noble, you're not going to see Rework kind of on a big.
I think Rework was their big breakout success. Ranked for business books. Let's see if yeah. I mean, how do you find how do these rankings?
You know, the other thing about books in general for them is that they're selling byproducts. Rework wouldn't happen unless they were already doing some other business.
Yes, yeah,
they wouldn't have the ideas for it.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen Rework at my local bookstore in Vernon, BC. I've seen it at the airport. It was getting significant distribution at the time. My guess is 577,000 copies puts it in the top 5%, I'm guessing.
Is that all time? 500K?
I think that's because this says
that number seems low.
Cumulative. You know, that's, yeah.
But I think we also forget like how small our space is, really.
But again, this was their breakout success. This was the one that reached the popular, the broader societal zeitgeist. Yeah.
But like that's also a signal that like, again, like if you're doing a product that's going to sell, that's targeting like SaaS founders, that's a very small market. People don't realize how small that market is. Or like even like bootstrapped business owners. It's a growing thing. It's you know, it's been around for years, but like in the general business category, like, and that includes funded startups. That includes executives at large corporations. That includes, you know, people in middle management. You know, they're not. A lot of those people are just not going to be attracted to the concepts of Rework. You know.
Yeah, so less than 2% of books sell more than 50,000 copies. So at 577,000 copies, Rework would definitely be in the top 1% of business books by sales volume. I think what's instructive about it is, again, we have a choice of where we are going to put our energy and our time and our resources. And if you're sitting down with me and you're saying, hey, I want you to give me some advice, I could just pursue writing the best business book I can, and I want that to be my full-time thing. Or I could go and build a software company, and I've got a really good idea for it. I'm really excited about it. Between those two bets, outside of other factors, but if you were just looking for the economic potential, which does matter to a lot of people,
yeah,
you would choose the software. You should choose the software company all the time. But what I always see creative people do is they're not making that calculus. We are friends with a lot of people, yourself included, who are musicians, who love audio, who could be, you know, you're musically inclined. And a lot of you took music in college. And, you know, if there's a reason that so many of you ended up getting into web development.
I remember the reason. Dude, I got a degree in audio production. I thought I was going to work in recording studios for my career. And then you know what happened? I got an internship at a couple of different recording studios that paid me $0 to work 40 hours a week. And then I went to an internship at a web design agency in New York, which did pay their interns. And that was the first signal that like, maybe I should pivot to this World Wide Web thing that's paying their interns, you know?
Yeah. Again, there's lots of reasons to pursue something you love. And, you know, if you've inherited a bunch of money, you should go do that. I think if you're in your early 20s, you should definitely go get your music degree and try a bunch of things. But if you are a person who wants to build a business, the asymmetry between effort and outcomes is something you should be thinking about. And to be thinking like the whole idea of business is that there is going to be an asymmetry here. Because if you invest $1 and you only get $1 back, you haven't made any money. You want to invest $1 and make $5, $10, $100 back for every dollar you put in and every ounce of effort you put in. You're looking for asymmetric bets. And so to be thinking about this and as soon as you're in that realm, then it's just like, well, how asymmetric could I get? Like maybe I could pursue this idea and asymmetrically, it might have a better outcome for me.
Yeah, we can go all day about this and go in circles about it. I feel like another because you could also get into that analysis paralysis thing where it's just like, all right, I don't believe in this bet, I don't believe in this bet, I don't believe in this bet, and then you just don't take any bets.
You gotta be in motion for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that was a good one. We went 2 hours and there's been people here in the live chat that have been with us the whole time.
I'm seeing movement over there. I usually don't have time
Daniel Colburn just joined at last minute here. There's all sorts of great, there's folks who've been here from the very beginning. Thanks to everyone who joined us in the chat. And folks, if you have other comments, leave them on YouTube, leave them on Blue Sky. We have an email address. I would like to request the AI bots that they stop emailing us with. Have you been getting these emails too, where they're emailing us about the show, but it's like an AI bot that's scraped our show? I
have, yes.
And so the first 2 paragraphs are like, oh, wow, this is someone listening to the show. This is so great. And then it's just some freaking bullshit. They're just
I got one. I got one, I think today or yesterday, because I recently did that Bootstrapped Web episode with Jordan. I got an email. First paragraph was like, it's great to hear you and Jordan catch up again after being off for so long. And I was like, oh, this must be a long-time Bootstrapped Web listener. And then I read 3 more paragraphs and I'm like, oh, they scraped that off of our description. Got it.
All right, folks. We'll see you next week, I think. I think we'll be back here on Thursday.
Later, folks.
Nice. Thanks again, everybody in the chat. Some of you, I need to learn how to say your names because there's Ostap.
When you sign into the chat, you're going to have to type
Bren?
in a pronunciation.
Yeah, we need a little bit of, we need, some of you folks, I just need a pronunciation guide. Yeah. Sveslav Marinov. I want to be able to shout you guys out. But
Rian Hefner, is it?
Yeah. See, there's Christopher Williams. That's fairly easy, but I want to be able to shout everybody out. Jim Hill, good to see you. Orbisius. Oh, that's Slavi Marinov. Okay.
Yeah.
Josh Frank. Thanks, everybody.
Familiar names, familiar usernames, familiar people.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. See you guys.
Later, folks.